Hi, I just wanted to pop on and see what I have to say. I'm going to breathe and then we'll get into it. Some days are harder than others. Some days we are faced with trials. We are faced with heartache, disappointment, a lot of negative feelings that we feel. And it's important that when we hit those trials, we try to remain positive. Because if we try to remain positive, we will look for the good. And you will find the good part of the bad situation. I'll give you an example is I had something occur in my life where I was away from my family for a while, and out of that, my son learned to do many things on his own that he wasn't doing previously. So the good thing that came out of it was my son learning to do tasks for himself. And I look at it that way. I'm not going to share the details. It's pretty personal, but I just wanted to use it as an example of how we overcome hard times. We overcome hard things by seeking out the good. And sometimes we don't notice the good thing until later. Sometimes we don't notice it for months, years, but we will, as long as you're looking for the good. One day it will just hit you, and you'll realize what good came out of the bad situation. Maybe it took you away from a bad relationship. Maybe it opened up a new door for you. There are reasons for the trials that we face in life. They are not to punish us. They are to move us forward. And when we're not moving ourselves forward, God steps in. And those are your big moments where they're pivotal and they stand out as dramatic and strong in your mind. Is because God stepped in and He gave you a trial to push you in the right direction. And we're all constantly moving through this life, and we want to make sure we're moving in the right direction. And if we're not, there will be things that let us know we're going the wrong way. And if we ignore those signs, then we end up in the trials. But if you can see it as it's coming and tell yourself to find the good, you will do much better. Excuse me. There are a lot of things in this life that we face that are difficult. Everyone has difficult times. Everyone faces trials. And it's easier if we support each other. That doesn't mean we have to carry each other through our issues. It just means that we can hold understanding for one another and offer support where we can. And if you offer support to someone, that doesn't mean that you solve their problems. It just means that you're there to hold their hand while they sit in the dark. Because that's all anybody needs, is a hand to hold while we sit in the dark. It's the lifeline, the connection back to the light. And it can be offered by anyone. Anyone can offer you that light. It might be a stranger who compliments your hair. And you could be having the worst day of your life. And when they compliment your hair, you say thank you and you smile. But inside, you might be wondering, why the hell are they focused on my hair? I've had the most disastrous day. And someone is complimenting my hair? And in the moment, you might be annoyed. But a few days from that moment, you might realize that the compliment that that stranger gave you was the thing that kept you moving. Maybe you were at your wit's end, and the confusion of someone complimenting you in that moment allowed you to open your eyes to more than the problem, and to realize that there was still light, there is still good, even in a bad day. And that person was your lifeline. That person was your connection back to the light. And we don't always have to have others help us. We can push through things on our own. A lot of us do things alone. And a lot of us prefer to do things alone. And that's okay. But if someone ever offers you a lifeline, take it. Even if you just take it with an insincere smile, just accept it. Because you might find that that moment is pivotal in your life. You might find that it turns things around for you in that moment. There are a lot of things we face throughout our lives. And things are easier when you can face them with grace. When you don't lose your cool. When you stay calm in the stressful situation. These are the ways you offer yourself a lifeline. You offer yourself a lifeline by remaining calm and talking to yourself. Talk to yourself in your head. Tell yourself this situation is bad. There is something good. I have to find it. And then when you find it, talk to yourself about it. Tell yourself, this good thing helped me through that hard moment. And thank the universe. because gratitude shows that you understand and you appreciate the trial that you went through. You might not like it. It might have been really hard, but you can put appreciation on the trial. And when you have appreciation for the trial, you hold it in a place where it can offer change to your life. Whereas if you fight it, you're just going to be faced with another trial. Because things happen over and over and over. You will repeat the same lesson over and over and over until you learn it. And until you learn it, those situations will continue to pop up. You can't escape your lessons. So you could think of it like someone who has been bullied in school and they switch schools because they don't want to be bullied. But then at their new school, they're bullied again. So they switch schools. And at the next school, they're bullied again. And it's not because everywhere they go, there are bad people. It is because of the energy that the person is carrying. And it could just be that you're different, that you give off light. And if you are a light person and you give off light, it agitates people who have darkness. It agitates people who are run by their darkness. And it will bring on things like bullying. Because people don't like what's different. People tend to want everything to be the same. We want everyone to be the same. And we talk about embracing differences and being who you are. But when you look at it, people don't want you to be who you are. They want you to follow the crowd. And when you don't follow the crowd, there must be something wrong with you, right? So people poke at that and they try to figure out what the heck is different. And even if they don't figure it out, they know that something's different. So they pick it apart. And by picking it apart, they could be unintentionally bullying you. They could be intentionally doing it, but a lot of times it's unintentional. It can just be that we notice a difference and we state that difference. It could just be a comment of, I think you dress weird. And in their eyes, it could have just been a statement. But in your eyes, it destroyed you. But only if you let it. It can only hurt you if you let it. Because you can always come back and say, I like how I dress. And that puts the bully in their place. They might have something shitty to say back, but it lets them know that you don't care what they have to say, and you're not going to let it affect you. And really all bullies are looking for is a reaction. They just want you to fight back, or for you to cry or for you to show them how much it hurt you. And when you don't, it throws them off. And this can be throughout your life. It doesn't have to be just when you were a child or in school. We meet bullies all the time. People who are hurt, wounded, walking through this life with a goal to wound others. Because when you are wounded, you feel alone. And nobody likes to feel alone. So you try to take people into your lonely space by bringing them down to your level. And that's done through things like bullying. But why would you want to drag someone else down to your level, to drag them down the ladder, when you could join them on the higher rung? Sit with that. Because the person on the higher rung, they're already holding themselves in a high regard. And if they're really on that higher rung, they're not even going to allow you to bring them down. So you will have no choice but to meet them in that higher space or to be alone. And there's nothing wrong with being alone. Being alone is fine. I like being alone. But you can't always be alone. It does get lonely. And you do need companionship. And we want to make sure that our companions are on a higher rung on the ladder. Because if we strive for companions who are high on the ladder or even up higher than us, we are already pushing ourselves towards bettering ourselves just by joining them on that rung. We're trying to meet them there. And you meet them there by realizing that you're sitting in the dark. You have to realize that you're sitting in the dark. You have to realize that you're at the bottom. Because if you don't realize you're at the bottom, you can't do anything to change it. You'll just live in it. The first step to awakening is realizing where you sit. And then you must make changes to sit where you prefer to sit on the ladder. And nobody prefers to sit at the bottom. When you're at the bottom, your life is shit. Everything feels like it's attacking you. Problems arise around every corner. Lesson after lesson after lesson. And you just feel like it's never going to end. That is the bottom of the ladder. But you have to reach out. Reach for the hands that are offered to you. Even if you don't like them. Someone might offer you a hand and you could hate it. You could hate every second of what they offer. But if it's bettering you and it's pushing you towards being the best version of yourself, why wouldn't you push through? You're strong enough. We're all strong enough to push through. When hard things arise, we don't just hide and stop living. We can. But typically you don't just stop living because something is hard or something is not good. You don't. You continue to live. And if you're continuing to live, it means you're strong because you're still fighting. And it may feel like you are fighting the lamest fight in the world. You might not be fighting much of anything that you find important, but it is. Every step of the way, every trial you face is important. Every single one. And sometimes we put ourselves in those moments. Sometimes we ignore the hand that has been offered by others, but especially by God. When we ignore the signs, we ignore the gut feelings, that's when we end up in trials we shouldn't have had to face. And a lot of us face trials we shouldn't have had to face just because we ignore those signals. And when you ignore those signals, you're ignoring the warning that you're walking into something or somewhere you don't want to be. The trials of life move us forward. They move us in the direction we need to go. And all trials have a purpose. All of them. Even the most painful ones, especially the most painful ones. And I know a lot of people look at their lives and look at the lives of others and wonder how children, innocent children, can be faced with such hard, difficult, painful things. And it's not that they are being punished by their trials. It's just that the trials we face in life shape our being. And God has a plan for all of us. He knows exactly who all of us are supposed to be. We know who we're supposed to be. We just have to remember. But God gives you those trials that you need. He doesn't allow children to be in bad situations because he wants them to be in pain. He puts them in bad situations because there is something about the situation that will offer a lesson. Something about the situation will shape the person into who they're supposed to be. Maybe it was you were violated and you've been holding that for years, the guilt and the shame, and you never looked at it deeper. But if you look at it deeper, maybe that happened to you because you were supposed to be an advocate for children. So you went through that to understand what those children go through and to be the light that offers the hand for others. Do you see how the bad moment taught you something? It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it good. It doesn't change what happened. But what changes is you. Your mindset. The way you view life. It's like trial and error. It's the hot stove effect. You touch the hot stove and you get burned. Do you touch it again? No. And if you do, you already knew what happened last time. So you know what the outcome is going to be. And you know how to fix it. Do you see? It doesn't make your hand not burned. It just means you know you have the tools to heal the burn. God gives us the tools to heal ourselves. And sometimes in healing, we take a few steps backwards because it's necessary. Sometimes taking a few steps backwards puts you back into a situation where you can look at it differently. And when you can look at it differently, you can learn different lessons. I want to give an example, but I'm having a hard time finding one. Okay, I was shunned by my family. Not my immediate family, but my extended family. I started off life as a blessing. Everyone was happy that I had been born. And as I grew, that changed. As I grew, my family members started outcasting me. And they would treat the next sibling as the spectacular, amazing being who's just been born. And they love them to death while neglecting the one who had already been here. So when my brother was born, the attention went to him. And I was neglected by extended family. They treated me bad. I always felt like I never belonged anywhere that they took me. I felt like I wasn't safe with them. And I didn't ever want my brother to feel like that. I didn't want him to know what it was like to be outcasted by his own family. So I was the hand. I offered the light to my brother. And because I offered the light, my brother is far less wounded than he could have been by those situations. Because I think when he could view my acceptance of being outcasted, he learned that he could accept it too. And in accepting it, we weren't accepting that we were being treated badly. We were just accepting that the situation was what it was, and we can't let it change who we are. So as we got older, and my sister was born, she became the next best thing. It starts all over again. Everyone's excited. Everyone's happy that you've been born. We've got a new nephew, niece, new grandchild. Everyone was happy. And the attention went to my sister. And my brother and I were outcasted again. We weren't as important. And we felt that. And I always made sure that my brother felt important in those situations. I would always play with my brother or take him outside or do something in those situations where I felt that we were being outcasted. And I would take him out of it. Or I would distract him from it. And I'm sure he noticed. I'm sure he felt the same way I did. Felt like he didn't belong in our own family. But I was the hand. I offered the hand in a hard trial. And I offered it again to my sister as she grew. And she became outcasted. Because each one of us went through that. Each one of us experienced loss over and over and over. We have grieved people who are alive. We have grieved people that we've never even met. But we have especially grieved the people who stepped into our lives as bright spots and then slowly took that away. And I have a memory of feeling like I didn't matter at all. I remember one year for Christmas, I really, really, really wanted these dolls. And I circled them in a magazine. My cousin circled them too. We both really wanted them. But they were expensive. So I didn't expect to get them. I never expected to get anything expensive. And on Christmas that year, my cousin opened one of her presents, and it was the dolls that I wanted. So I was really, really excited. I couldn't even believe that our grandmother would get that for us. I couldn't believe it. And then I was passed a present, and it was not the dolls. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember feeling crushed in that moment. I remember feeling like I didn't matter at all. Like nothing I wanted mattered. And it still kills me. Stupid dolls. They kill me. Because I have never felt so excluded. Not by anyone. And to have it be my own family. It killed me. And I remember saying that I had wanted them and telling them after the fact that I had wished I had them. But I felt rude. And everyone said they didn't know that I wanted them. But if anyone had been paying attention to me, they would have known. And I experienced that so that I could help my siblings through it. Because they experienced their crushing moments too. And I was there to pick up the pieces. And I was there to tell them that it didn't matter that our grandparent didn't like us. That it didn't matter that our family didn't love us. Because we loved each other. And that's what mattered. So in those dark moments, remember that you could be learning to be a protector. You could be learning to be someone's safety net. Don't regret or resent anything about your life. Because there is always a reason for the things that happen to you. There is always a reason. And 9 times out of 10, it is to teach you how not to do something horrible, or how not to be the person in that situation that is the negative side. You can learn how to be the bright spot. And you want to be a bright spot in this world. And the more bright spots there are, the lighter the world gets. Be that hand that's offered in the dark. Because somebody needs it. Thanks for watching.